Two children who are bored while waiting for their flight at the airport decide to race from one end of the 20-meter-long moving sidewalk to the other end and back. Philippe runs on the sidewalk at 2 meters per second relative to the sidewalk, while René runs on the floor at 2 meters per second. The sidewalk moves at 1.5 meters per second relative to the floor. Both make the turn instantly with no loss of speed. Part A, who wins the race, either Philippe or René? And Part B, by how much time does the winner win? So for this problem, the first thing is that probably just finding the times is the way to go, and that will answer A accidentally while we answer B along the way. So we'll do that. All right, our best approach is to start off with a picture. So here is the 20 meters that the slidewalk goes, and we will say that it moves here at 1.5 meters per second. And that, remember, is going to be the velocity of, let's call it the walkway with respect to the ground. And of course, it goes back the other way. We won't care about that. We do know that its length is 20 meters. And we have Felipe running first this way, and in the second part of the problem running that way. In both cases, Felipe's speed with respect to the walkway is 2 meters per second. And then sort of hanging out here, doing the round trip, is René. And René's speed relative to the ground is also 2 meters per second. In other words, they're equally fast. So that's sort of our setup so far. René's time is easy, right? Because René's time is going to be 20 meters over 2 meters per second one way plus 20 meters over 2 meters per second the other way, which is 10 seconds plus 10 seconds, or 20 seconds. That gets us René. For Felipe's time is going to be, well, he's 20 meters, and when he's moving to the right, those speeds are going to add. So it'll be 2 meters per second plus 1.5 meters per second. But once Felipe turns around and is coming back up, now we know that his effective speed is going to be 2 meters per second minus 1.5 meters per second. So here we have 20 meters over 3.5 meters per second. And here we have 20 meters over 1/2 meters per second. So 20 meters over 7/2 meters per second plus 20 meters over 1/2 meter per second. That becomes 40/70ths of a second plus 40 seconds. Which is 45.7 seconds. So we can see that for part A, I guess we can say René wins. And René wins by 25.7 seconds. You might have noticed that I did that in a somewhat quick and dirty fashion, and I didn't really justify these speeds that I came up with, and I'm going to do that in a supplemental video. It's not necessary for solving the problem, but in case you're worried about where those speeds came from and using our full formalism, I think it's worth spinning off and looking at.